Two theorems that I want to talk to you about in this first video and two in the second. First one's called the linear pair theorem. Looks just like the definition. If two angles form a linear pair, then they are supplementary. Here's an example of a linear pair. Okay, adjacent and together they form a straight angle. Okay, so if they're a linear pair, which these are, then they are supplementary, which means that they add up to 180. So I can write an equation: 4x plus 60 plus x plus 20 is equal to 180. Here's an example of a theorem. And a theorem is something that can be proven that leads directly to an equation. Okay, now we're just solving the equation. Combine like terms. 5x plus 60 plus 20 is 80. Minus 80. 5x is equal to 100. And divide by 5, and I could find that x is equal to 20. Now, if I had to plug it back in, I could do that pretty easy. Plug it into this one. 20 plus 20, this angle would be 40 degrees. This one should be 140, right? Because they're supplementary. 40 times 20 is 80 plus 60, you bet it's 140. That's called the linear pair theorem. The next one's a little bit trickier type theorem, and I'm going to read through it, show you an example with geometric notation, and then we'll plug in some numbers. It says if two angles are supplementary to the same angle or to two congruent angles, then the two angles are congruent. So let's say that angle A is supplementary to angle B. Okay, and let's say that angle B is supplementary to angle C. What do we know? Okay, well, what this means is that angle A is going to have to be congruent to angle C. And you're saying, well, how do we know that? Well, let's plug in some numbers. Let's say that angle A is, I'm just picking a random number, let's say 40. Let's see if I have another pen here. I don't have a different color. So let's say angle A is 40 degrees. And it's supplementary angle B. What would angle B have to be? Well, 180 minus 40 is 140 because they have to add up to 180, correct? All right, now angle B is 140. That's what we just decided in that first statement. It has to be supplementary to angle C. Well, if angle B is 140 and it's supplementary to angle C, doesn't angle C then have to be 40 degrees? And so then shouldn't angle A and angle C, measure the same thing? Okay, it's tricky. It's a tricky theorem. We have a similar one called the congruent complements theorem that I'll talk about in the next video. Thanks.